Nice to have you on board. Thank you for for coming to our event this afternoon. This is the first one for this year. We had about 6 events last year, didn't we? And please, if you want to refer to them, they are on Facebook, on our channel. So please go, if you want to, on our YouTube channel as well, so you can go back to them. Really, I'll just introduce myself and allow my co-presenter to introduce himself. This is Transformation Sanctuary International, and our mission is committed to victoriously and Christ-likeness. So there are two parts to the church. There's one for the outreach, which is the event we're doing now, and much more. Of course, there is where we have the Bible teaching on Sundays and on Thursdays, where we dig deep into the Word of God. But much more, we look at Christ-likeness. How do we take this into our everyday lives? How do we be more like Christ in our marriages, in our homes, with our children, at our work? And events like this are just to empower people and to share our knowledge to help us live victorious lives. And like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure if I've introduced myself. I'm Victoria Lawal, and it's nice to have you on board this afternoon. And with me here is...
I'm Vincent Lawal. Thanks everyone for joining us. Good to see us all. And just to follow on from what Victoria was saying, we are called to help people live victorious lives. We want to live victorious lives. We want to help people live victorious lives. And for today's session in particular, it's how can we have marriages that we enjoy rather than endure, because there are many homes all over the world where you have two adults living together and they're just enduring each other, tolerating each other. It's not gotten to a level of violence or anything, but everything from malice for days, weeks, months, to running the family like a project and things like that, lack of emotion, lack of feelings and things like that. But that's not the ideal. And we know February is a month of love, Valentine. For married couples on the line, I hope you had plans. I hope you executed your plans and all that. And we just thought it's a good time to still talk about things like this. We have a passion as a church and as a couple, we have a passion to see marriage successful, marriage, to see successful marriages. We have a passion for a godly home, a stable, healthy, and godly home for children, because when you talk about mental health, sometimes all that starts from the kind of circumstance, the kind of background people come from. And if we can have that healthy background, that godly background, that peaceful background, then our children can thrive. We've been married I was married this morning. We've known each other for life. Like, we've just known each other for a long time, even before we got
1991.
1991, yeah, probably even before. So we've known each other since we were alive. And then our relationship started in 2001. Yeah, and then we got married 2003. So 19 years in, still a very, very young marriage compared to some we've seen. But 19 years, we've got a bit of experience too. In fact, once you've been married for a month, you've got lots of experience. Yeah, so not to talk of 19 years. And one of our passion is to counsel couples, to sit with couples, to talk about how their relationships can grow, how they can enjoy their marriage rather than just endure. So we are ambassadors for godly homes, godly children, happy marriages. We've got 3 questions we want to ask before we start. 3 cheeky questions, just to give us an idea and a flavor.
Because we want you to engage.
Yes.
So,
yes, exactly.
We want
please, we want as much engagement. You can just put it in the chat, or it's okay to come up mute and talk to us. That's good. So, but let's do this together. Let's rub minds this afternoon. So our first question is, if you are married, how long have you been married for? So please put it in the chat. We're trying to find out who's been married the longest and the shortest in I mean, so for those of you on Facebook, please feel free to put it on Facebook. For those of you on the chat, please feel free to put it on the chat. Let's see that come up, please. How long have you been married for? How long have you had?
Almost 3.
Almost 3 years.
Well done.
22.
Oh
Jesus
my
is Lord. Hallelujah.
22 years.
22 years. Hallelujah. Now, you know Caroline's enjoying her marriage so much because she's put, I think. Like 22 years is just like 2 years.
Yes.
You know? I think. Yeah. Okay, 12 years. That's good.
Yeah, well
okay.
Done.
Keep it coming. 13 years. Wow.
So we've got
wow, that's 13 years. That's good. Any more? How long have we been married for? Keep it coming, people. So far it's 3. I think that's 3 is the youngest so far. Okay, it's 3 years, so not 3 months. So then 22, 12, and 13.
21
okay.
Years.
Brian. Oh, wow. Well done,
years.
Brian. 21 years. Yeah. Brian, and you know, Brian's enjoying.
He's married. He looks young every time you see him. Actually,
exactly. And Nina. And Nina, exactly. And either at Spain, either in Spain or.
34 years. Oh,
34
wow.
years.
Well done.
That's, of course, that's a pace setter.
Yeah.
34 years. 17 years. Well done. Well done. Okay, 17 times 2, 34. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So thanks for all those who have shared, and please feel free, keep it coming. Now, next question, because clearly everyone's been in this marriage for more than 72 hours.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I said that is the shortest marriage I know on record, that I know there might be shorter ones, is 72 hours, before they file for divorce, married 72 hours and then filed for divorce. Now, people have been married for between 3 and 34 years.
Wow.
What has kept you in the relationship? Please feel free to put it in the chat or feel free to shout it out, to talk about it. Why? What has kept you in there? Anybody? Anything? What has kept you? You've been married now 3 years. You've been married 22 years, 12 years, 13 years, 16 years, 34 years, 21 years, 17 years, 19 years. What has kept you in the relationship? Anybody want to make a shout out on that one or put it in the chat?
Nothing is no question is wrong or right. No wrong or right answers. We just want to sound you out.
Yeah. God, hallelujah. Oh wow, well done. Honeymoon period. Oh wow. That's
we hope that honeymoon is still ongoing.
The honeymoon is ongoing, exactly. The honeymoon has to continue for the next 25, 30, 35 years. The fear of God. Wow. That's deep. The fear of God. I don't fear man, I fear God. Okay, right. Okay. Having a friend.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a key positive. Having a friend. Yeah. Anything on Facebook?
No.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah.
Faith in God and the love for my husband. Wow. That person was really loved well.
Faith in God and love for my husband. That's really positive. That's really positive. That's really positive. Oh, that's good. Thank
you for all the comments. And I think the last one for now is we want to know why do people or why do couples, why do they endure their marriage rather than enjoy it? Anything that comes to you to mind?
Please put it in the chat.
Why do people endure their marriage?
Yeah. Because today is all about how we can enjoy our marriage rather than endure marriage. Okay. So why do God love? Okay, so that's from Brian. That's good. So why do people endure? Why do we have homes that are unhappy homes?
Children.
Oh, children. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Good.
Yeah. Because of the children.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay.
That's another one.
Right. Okay. I trust the children are not sitting beside you as you're typing those. They're like, oh, so we are the cause of.
No. Why do they endure? So that's the more reason they don't want to leave. They
that's
just
why they've stayed in there.
Yeah, that's why they've stayed in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Because of the children. Right.
Okay. Because of the children. People who are just joining us. Why do people endure their marriage? Do you think there are any reasons why people just endure and not enjoy it? For people who are joining us. I wonder if we're framing that question well. Because how are they enduring that? Why are they still in it? Yes. That's what endure means. Yes. But I think what we have in mind is why are people not enjoying their marriage? Yeah, it's still the same. It's why people endure and not enjoy. Okay. But thank you for all the comments. So we'll move on. And thank you. I think somebody did say in there what has kept you in this relationship. Somebody said God. Somebody said, yeah, faith in God, the love for my husband, the fear of God. And we are all correct. And I think that's where we start from this afternoon. The fact that marriage is God's idea. Marriage is God's idea. God wants it to be permanent. He doesn't want it to be, oh, okay, it's just for a few days or for a few weeks or for a few months, and then everybody goes their separate ways. When God created Adam and Eve in Genesis, God created them so that they could stay together. It says, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife. So it's God's idea. And even the fact that God will come down in the Eve to fellowship with them, he knew the importance of marriage. So it's God's idea. And we find that also, I think in Ephesians 5:21, it says submitting to one another in the fear of God. You know, somebody did mention, he said, fear of God. It's not like we don't see better things outside. It's not like we don't see, wow. You mean like a phone from iPhone 11 to iPhone 13 out there? Does that apply to marriage at all, people? Do you find an upgrade and all that, and you go and trade in your phone and all that? Does that happen, people? With comments, please feel free to put comments in the chat, whatever your views are. Well, what I'm trying to say to Vincent is, I know, of course, it's always the aspect that, okay, when men go out, they see beautiful women outside. Well, it's the same for women as well. I think we were watching TikTok yesterday, remember? And I saw a guy there. I said, oh, look at his haircut. He's really, and the guy trimmed, remember? So I said to you, so you like that guy when you saw him yesterday on TikTok? No, I admired him, right? Jesus is not, okay. No. We might need counseling after this session. Please, if you're putting yourself forward, let us know. No. Go on. No, what I'm just saying is, it's not just, because our society is designed in such a way that they think it's only men that see better things out there. Women also see better things out there. Wow. You know, you see you probably the person you've been married to doesn't do exercise and all of that, and they've got pot belly, and you see a nice guy with a six-pack outside. Of course you will admire. I'm not saying you're going to abandon your marriage for that, but what I'm saying is, just as men see beautiful things, women see handsome things as well. Okay. So it's both ways. But we know that it's the fear of God that keeps us. Wow. The fear of God. You know, somebody like, it's mentioned in the Bible, Joseph, he was not with his parents. And somebody, Potiphar's wife was trying to lure him to lay with him, to lay with her. But it says the fear of God. His parents was not there to rebuke him. So it's the fear of God that keeps us in our marriage. So, I know is that a revelation? Well, now that I know that, I need to. We do 6 parts. I need to upgrade. I need to make sure that I'm in the market. I'll register for the gym, and 6 packs here it comes. I'll be working on that very, very quickly. No, you don't need a 6-pack. I love you the way you are. But I'm just saying. That's fine then. I'm just saying that it's not just men. That you know, when you see nicer things out there, women as well. There are people, you know, who husbands just believe, oh, once you're married to me, you're married to me, and they don't improve themselves, even though they want the woman to improve herself.
On herself.
Yes, so it's both ways.
That's so true. And I think it's just that sense of permanence which you're talking about, isn't it? That we go into this as it is for life. It's not, oh, once you do X, or if X happens, if Y happens. No. It is for life, and we're going to make this work as much as possible. Thanks for all the comments coming in on Facebook and on Zoom. Thank you. Right. So when we sent out the leaflet, the e-flyer for this, one of the things I wrote on Facebook was that the best marriages are made in Macedonia. And I said, come on today, and then we'll tell you what that means. The best marriages are made in Macedonia. What did I mean by that? Macedonia, of course, is in Greece. It's in present-day Greece. And I wasn't saying you need to go to Greece for your fairy tale wedding, or you need to get married and start living in Greece. Although I think the sun is better there than in the UK, to be honest. But that's not the meaning. Where we got that from was from 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5. It's basically a scripture in the Bible which says, and not only as we hoped, but they first gave themselves to the Lord, then to us by the will of God. And what that meant, and we've seen the fear of God in the chat already, we've seen God being the reason why people are still in their relationships. And basically, what we learned from that scripture was a threefold thing. And the Bible says a threefold cord is not easily broken. What we learned from that is, number one, for us as a people of faith, if our relationship will survive, if it will thrive, if it's something we're going to enjoy, then number one, we must give ourselves to God. He is our maker. He is our designer. He is the model creator. He instituted marriage. We give ourselves to him. We fear him. Whatever we do to our spouse, we do it on the basis of the fact that we fear him, and we're going to give him an account of what we did with them. I always say to people, when you get to heaven, it's not only going to be about what you did to yourself. God's going to ask you, what did you do with the spouse I gave you? And we've got to always bear that in mind when we're the way we handle and treat God's children, because they are God's children. We are all God's children, but God cares for them as much as he cares for us. So that's the first one. The second thing is they gave themselves to their mentors, to people who had authority over them. And I think when we're discussing that this afternoon, we're saying, please, 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 if you know a young person getting married, tell them whoever you're getting married to, make sure they have an authority figure they submit to, somebody they listen to, somebody who can call them to order. Because if you go marry a man who does not care about anybody and he just lives in his own world, when you run into stormy waters, it'll be difficult to get out because you won't have anybody to come in and speak into his life or her life. So give yourself to God. Give yourself to an authority figure over your life. Could be your parents, could be somebody else. And also give yourself to your spouse, to one another. Bible says the man does not have authority over his own body, neither does the woman, because we are meant to submit to one another in the fear of God. You want to talk about where all of this should start from?
We will actually talk about, because there are things that we are going to talk about today. You know what? When I looked at the life of the queen got married. They were married for 73 years.
Oh, yes.
Man, that is commitment. It's hard work. And I'm sure some of us watched The Crown and we saw some of the things. We saw that they had stormy times, even in their marriage.
Yeah.
But at that, they were committed. This just brings us to that point where, so the reason why I mentioned that is that if people could be married for 73 years, it is possible. It is not something that, because society has now made us believe that, you know, you don't have to stick with that. Yeah. You don't have to stick with that. You don't have to work at it. But
go for something else.
You
don't like what you've got, change
iPhone 13,
exactly. change it. Upgrade.
But that's not what God desires for our homes and our marriages. And there are two key components, I will probably say, probably more, for a successful marriage. And this is to some of our young ones. If we have, you know, for some of us listening here, you may have a young one that you are looking out for, or people that you can advise, you can give them direction, you can teach them out of your own experience.
Or maybe we've forgotten, and this will remind us.
Yes.
That these are things
we need to focus on
again. Yes.
Yeah. So there are two key components which I mentioned is love and values.
Right.
And love is this intense feeling of deep perfection.
I love you.
I love you. And that word actually now, that word, sometimes when some spouses hear, I love you, they feel like slapping you because really, there's no action that backs up that word. Wow. And we're going to get to that in a minute.
So I love you, but
it's not generally just to, I love you is to gloss over something that's happened. You know, I love you.
Or maybe they want something
from you.
And that's when they remember, you know, I love you. Can I have your credit card? Oh, no, sorry.
I don't do that.
Of course not.
Okay.
Of course not.
So we said love is an intense affection and a great interest and pleasure in something. So it feels love is always this action that pulls you to that person. But the other component is values. And I said value is the regard that something is held to deserve, importance, worth, usefulness of something, which brings me, values includes how we spend our money, how we engage with people, our outlook to life, social activities, career advancement, body image, religion, which brings me to this question: which one is more important in a marriage or in a relationship? Value or love? Values or love?
Wow.
Put it on the chat. Let's see.
Wow.
Let's see what people think.
Important.
Which one is more important? Or the values we share or the love we share? Or if you think both are, let us know. Well, what are your thoughts?
Wow. Which one is
values or love?
Values. Okay.
Values, great.
Values.
Yeah, well done.
2, yeah, we've got 2
values,
for values
great.
so far. Yeah, values.
Love,
okay.
love.
Well, you surely you can't marry without love, can you?
Of course.
You know what?
We said there are 2 components. Mama, what do we think? Values or love? Yeah.
My pastor always said to me, and this was years ago. He didn't say it directly to me, or saying when I was preaching. He was always saying, make sure whoever you get married, make sure it's somebody you're proud to walk down the road with and all that. So surely love also must be important. Okay, we've seen so on Facebook also
increases. Values. Well done, sir. Thank you, Deacon Jude.
We've got a political answer there.
Values
and love. You know, that's
another one.
That's it. We've got 2 political.
And honestly, we are all correct. But and I guess it's for us to look at what actually is important to us. What will make marriage last? Because usually your values in life will determine how you love. Thank you, Ma. Your values in life will determine how, and that honestly leads us to what we have here. It says shared values build love over time. Right? So if you have only love can sometimes I don't feel like I'm in love with this man. Sometimes it's not every time you are in love, but when you have the same value, when you have shared values, it makes love grow. It makes fondness. It makes for fondness. The marriage will work. When you have different values, it diminishes love over time. Because what tends to happen is if everybody just goes on their own tangent and does whatever pleases them, then what happens is resentment comes in, bitterness breeds, malice, and all of that. And honestly, for us, we need to let aspiring couples or couples who are going, young ones, that a lot of couples spend a lot of time on a beautiful wedding ceremony. Oh, wow. In Greece, in Macedonia, in Maldives, everywhere.
I love the dance steps. You know that's the new fad now. And all that the dance steps. You know, everyone coming in, and sometimes I feel for the young guys who have never danced before, but because they're on the bridal train or the groomsmen, they then have to dance and things like that. And you need to see the steps sometimes. It's really important. But all that preparation just for the wedding.
But there's much more work after the wedding.
Oh, yes.
And thank you for everyone. Yes, value attracts love. And it's true. When we're on the same tangent, when we are traveling in the same direction, even though we may, as individuals, we will still do our things, because remember that marriage does not remove the individuality. Marriage brings us together to do what we need to do as a married couple, while still being individuals. So while we're still being who we are. And which leads us to the next thing, that marriage is hard work. We cannot lie that if people have been in marriage for 34 years, like we have on the platform, 22, 17, 19, 50 years, then we know that it's a lot of hard work. Or what do you think?
Oh, no, that's so true. And whatever you're going to enjoy, you need to invest in whatever you're going to enjoy. That's one key takeaway tonight. Marriage is, I say, people, just think about it. You work in an organization. Your first reason of being in that organization is not to make friends. It's not to buy and sell things. I'm selling bags, I'm selling shoes and all that. It's to work for that organization and help it achieve its objectives. And your value at that organization is rated accordingly, according to the contribution you're making. Same with church, same with school, same with everything else. And it is the same with marriage. That the level of our investments in our marriage is what makes the difference between an enjoyable marriage or a struggling marriage. One that you were just enduring each other, tolerating each other, rather than, really enjoying having each other and having each other's company. Marriage is hard work. It requires effort and time. We can't wish for a good home without working on it. Why? Because there are lots of things vying for our attention. Career, children, business, ministry, name it, activities, lots of things. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Lots of things vying for attention. And unless we invest in it, we do the hard work. Unless we do that, then we don't reward. It takes effort to decide to spend time with your spouse together. It takes effort to decide to talk and to connect. You've been at work all day and you come home tired. The last thing you want to do is talk. Apparently, I'm told men share or speak an average of 10,000 words a day, whilst women speak 25,000. And when you get to that peak, either as a man or a woman, you don't want to talk. But you might come home to somebody who has only spent 5,000 of their own words, and they're still looking to spend the other 5,000 with you. It takes effort to decide to still continue to talk when you've reached your limits. It's marriage. As we're committed to our work, to our education, to our business, to our church and everything, so also do we need to be committed to our marriage. Love is important. It's the oil that keeps all of this going. However, love is not enough. It's in it was Maxwell who wrote that talent is key, but it is not enough. It's the same in marriage. Love is key. Love is the oil, but it is not enough. Marriage is about sacrifices on both sides to create a win-win. We've always said, for married people, you must learn to compromise. But somebody re-educated us this week that it's not about compromise. Compromise talks of somebody wins, somebody loses. Oh, I want to go to Spain, you want to go to Greece. Okay, let's compromise. We go to France. Did that really work? Well, actually, what we need to be looking for is a win-win. What's a win for you and a win for me? And to get that, it takes time, it takes effort to make that happen.
Can I just put this in and thank you for sharing that? Is the fact that when we say marriage is hard work and we need to invest in it, a lot of us, we invest in our career. We go for different courses, we go for accreditation, or we get a new degree, we invest in different things, and we make it like we are keeping up with the way things are
Evolving.
advancing, evolving.
Yeah.
And it's the same with technology. If you don't know how to use the social media now or internet, it's like you are living in the 19th century. And it's the same for marriage. Have you thought, when last did I read a book on marriage?
Wow.
When last did I invest in my marriage? When last did I say, oh, you know what, darling, let's go out today. I've booked somewhere for you. And it doesn't have to be one person, it's both sides.
Both sides.
So it is hard work. The more we invest in it, the better the investment becomes.
Exactly.
The better the wine becomes. It becomes new, it becomes fresh, and all that.
And that's what makes us enjoy our marriage. Because as you invest in it, God blesses your investment. But if you don't invest in it, then there's nothing for God to bless. And then we wonder why we grow apart. Because we've not been growing together. Yeah, and I think that's the place of commitment, isn't it?
Yes. Sir.
That irrespective of what life throws at you, commitment will keep you going. The difference between a good marriage and a bad marriage, sometimes the key difference is the commitment shown to that relationship.
Commitment. So we need to be committed.
We need to be committed.
All right. We are committed. And the other thing we want to talk about is, we hope you are getting something from this. Like you said, it's probably something you've heard before, but this is just to bring it to our remembrance, the things that, God wants us to do in our marriages, what God has planned for us. The other thing we want to talk about is the competition. Sometimes some couple feel, they compete with one another. They compete. I'm the one getting ground here. I'm the one getting ground here, and all of that. And it's competition in marriage is good. It's healthy competition in marriage. He encourages us to good works, each and every one of us, and it makes us evolve together. For example, I remember that when my husband did his master's and he was saying, oh, you are the next in line, you will be doing your master's next, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to do that. But he encouraged me. And of course I was able to do it. And then the next thing he was saying is he's doing PhD. I said, well, you're on your own. You're on your own, But
no comments.
What we are saying is, when one is advancing, the other should be the one that has the strength and the capacity and the capability should be encouraging the other one to advance. Yes. Because what we find out in most marriages now, where people are just enduring, is because one has gone way ahead and the other one is still stuck in the past. Values are now a bit different, and if that's the case in your marriage, think of how I won't say the good old days. They are still, this should be our better days. Think of how when you were dating, the things you found, interesting in that person. Think of how, that person's like I told my husband, I said, anytime I used to come to see him then, my heart would be beating, boom, boom, boom. It still beats now, yeah. My heart.
It's difficult not to smile when you hear things like that. So I'm trying not to smile.
And I did tell him now that sometimes because of COVID, sometimes we work from home together. Sometimes, but now that we've come back into the office, sometimes we go to the office on different days. And when he's not home, I tell him, I said, oh, I missed you. You are not here. But because we've come together to say, challenge each other to good works. And and the challenging each other to good works is not in a way to bring the other person down. No. That, oh, I've got my MBA now. What are you doing? You are still stuck with your OND. No. It's, you know what, darling, this is what I think we should do. Blah, blah, blah. Let's do it together.
And just to add to that, I've made this move. I've made this progress. Your turn. I'll wait. It's not, I'm going all the way to the top. And when I get there, then we can think about you. That's not the way marriage should be. And I know sometimes we're like, oh, but we got children and the woman should take care of the children. I think men also can do more. Rather than, oh, you know what, let me just go and let me get to the top of the career ladder and then I'll pull you up or I'll give you money. No, because one of the things we've discovered also is as you advance in your career, as you advance in your outlook to life,
Values change.
Your values change. And unless the other person is also advancing with you and you're always on the same page, that can be a reason why the gap begins to come in between both of you. So that's why we're saying that healthy competition of let's pull each other up. My wife's very, very good at exercising. Oh my days, goodness. On average, every day, an hour and a half, 2 hours, she's exercising. Now, she started this, and I thought initially that was just a fad, and she was just doing that. Oh, she'll get tired, it's fine. But when I saw that she wasn't going to change that, I then thought to myself, I said, if I turn 75 and she turns close, so I don't tell you her age, and she turns close, and she's still fit and healthy, and I'm just shaking like an old man.
And I even think I made fun of you.
That's not, yeah, exactly. She always said to me then, I remember, thanks for that. She always said to me, don't worry, when you are old, I'll be taking you around, you know, I'll be feeding you, I'll be helping you. That was what spurred me into, you know what, that's not going to happen. But that was a healthy challenge she threw me. And now I do my bits and things like that.
Sometimes.
And so it's that healthy challenge of let's grow together. Let's not look for excuses on why that can't happen. It does help us enjoy marriage. Do you want to say anything about setting goals?
It takes us to the next point, which is, do you set goals as a couple, as a family? Remember, in the world of work, at the beginning of the year, your managers will give you objectives for wherever you are, even if you are in a business. You know that these are the plans for the year.
Yeah.
And, you know, we try to walk in line with that plan, even though some things may change during the course of the year. And it should be the same in our marriages. Do we set goals as a family?
Do we set goals?
Do you think, okay, this year 2022, we are going to do an extension for our property, or we are going to buy a new house. These are the steps. By the time we get to April, May, these are the things we would have put in place. When we set goals, like in the world of work, in the world of a secular world, it's something we can bring into our marriages. God is a man. God plans. Each day he knew what he was going to create. Yeah. And by the 7th day, it was completed. Oh, yes. And it should be the same for our marriages. Do you make plans together? Do you set goals, or do we just follow the wind? Oh, okay. Grandpa is coming tomorrow. Okay, let him come. My father is coming tomorrow. Or you know, the children are, you know, we need to put things in perspective. Marriage is not just like we said, it's a lot of work. We plan, we set goals. What are we achieving this year? How many books are we reading? How many days are we fasting? How many hours of prayers are we doing together as a couple? How many times are we going out as a couple? As a couple, yeah, exactly. You know, which is part of the things we do. We know that once we make our goals for the year, there are times we go out with the children, and there are times we go out together. You know, just to be in one another's space. Wall, and exactly. I think we, you know, as families, we need to set goals, careers, investment. Think about your children. Where do you, even for children that are going to, you know, you make plans for them. And that's just what I'll say about setting goals. Yes. So. And
please be careful. One of the things the enemy does is, if he sees your marriage working, he can throw you what I call a very, very good distraction. Something which just, I want to do this thing. And that can ruin. So for example, a great job offer just comes. And I always say, even if that happens, you need to bring it back into the family plan. Is this part of our plan? Is this part of our thoughts and all that? Or, oh, you know what? I can travel to Canada now and be there for the next 3 years and all that. Was that part of, how does that impact on the family, on the children? Was that part of our plan at all? And I know that happens sometimes. Men, we think, oh, this is a, you know, when you hear things like once in a lifetime opportunity, please be careful with that, because God is not subject to, this is it, you miss it, you are gone. It's not, only salvation qualifies for once in a lifetime opportunity. Everything else, if you take it back to God in prayer, He will show you what you need to
And
do.
sorry, just to mention that I forgot to talk about, you know, initially when I started out, I studied geology as my first degree. And, you know, I started working, I got a good lucrative job with this, you know, French oil company. And I was
international mobile engineer, wasn't it? International mobile engineer.
I was employed in Nigeria, and I was taken to China, and I had to travel everywhere. It was called, like Vincent said, it's international mobile. Everywhere they had a job on the rigs, I had to travel. And at some point, of course, I enjoyed that job. It's a lot of money for a young person, and especially all I was doing was just to you know, you spend the money, you do everything you want. But at some point I got married. And after we got married I think in May 2003, I had to go to the rig for almost 6 months. And coming back, I think I came back in December, and that was how it was in our first few years of marriage. And both of us sat down and think, if we want to make a home, if we want to have a happy home, if we want our success to be balanced. Not lopsided, what do we do? And at some point, I had to resign from that career and I had to retrain. Of course, it could be a man that will make that decision. It could be a woman that will make that decision. But at some point in time, we need to make sacrifices to have a family. And like I said, I said to my husband this morning, I said, if I have to not make that decision, to advise my 20-year-old self that would I have taken the same decision? Would I have made the same? And I said, yes, I would have, because now you have a balanced life. We go to church. We are not hungry. We may not get the same money as I used to get then, but God has blessed us in every way. And you know, sometimes we need to think of the impact it will have, not just on the short term, but on the long term.
Thank you. That's really, really useful. And I think that leads us nicely into the next part of this talk, which is around every marriage will have problems.
Even the best of it.
Even the best of marriages. Look, guess what? Even if you were married to an angel, I call my wife an angel, but I mean a real one now with wings flapping. Even when you were married to one, you will still have problems in your home, because that angel will just look at things in such a pure, undiluted manner, and sometimes that will just be boring to you. Just like, come on, be real for once. I was just joking, you know. So problems coming into relationships. Now, some problems are solvable, some are not. And what's amazing is some solvable problems we allow to fester for so long, and that's why we don't enjoy our marriage. Something petty, something little, something that we can easily let go of. No one. This was one of the key things I learned early in this relationship. No one will give you an award or a medal for winning the arguments against your spouse. No. I was right, and I've proved it beyond reasonable doubt that I was right. It might make you feel good in yourself, but you might have lost your partner. Not lost, of course, in terms of them leaving you, but you've lost a good vibe. You've lost, and just sometimes just giving in. Somebody said, women are always right, even when they're wrong. It's just a rule of life. You want to enjoy your home, we just say, you're right.
So really.
End of. Peace of mind. And sometimes you got to value that peace more than the argument. If she says, somebody said men see in black and white, women see in a variety of colors. And that colors everything that we do. A woman will tell you that thing is not right. And more often than not, let's be truthful here, more often than not, she's correct. But a man who sees in black and white is just like, I can't see what you're saying, so I want it my way. And that causes problem. But what I want us, so I'm not focusing on the solvable ones. What I want us to think about are the unsolvable problems we have in our relationships, which can often cause stress and strain. can you please put in the chat what you think and examples? Let's think about examples of unsolvable problems. Problems that, you know what, there's nothing we can do about this one. We've got this one. Please, can we please put some in the chat? Okay.
Extended family, thank you.
Okay, I'll come back to.
No, love is not enough for community.
No, yeah, that was before. No, that came now. I'll come back to your point, Sister KG. I'll come back to that. Let's build up to this. So unsolvable problems, extended family, difficult in-laws. Your mother-in-law just cannot stand the ground you're standing on. That can be, yeah. No, I'm coming to it. Of course, I'm not going to. Definitely not. Yeah. So that's one. Please feel free. Bonaventure. External advisors. People speaking into your relationship, even where you have not. Is that an unsolvable problem? Can it be solvable where, you know, by discussion and by counsel and by agreement and all that, how to raise kids? I think again that's a bit solvable.
How to raise kids can be sometimes, because sometimes the husband and wife are setting their ways that this was the way I was raised, this is the way I'll raise them. Right. Sometimes it can create a lot of tension.
Right. Okay. Can create tension. So let's go there then. Wanting sex all the time. Now, I think that is solvable. Is it solvable? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that is solvable. There have to be lots of discussions, lots of agreements, and things like that. Oh, that's okay.
Right. When we are laughing, just make olics for that partner of yours and the Muslims.
Oh yeah, I think yeah.
But it's true, like our sister said, it may be a big issue.
It can be a big issue and in relationships. Yeah.
But the thing is, and one of the ones we talked about is the difficulty in loss. There can be loss in the marriage. Sometimes people lose. We pray it will not happen to us. Some people lose their children. Some people lose family members.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can have a difficult child to raise.
That's the
and
thing,
that child is just so difficult.
Children there.
Jobs, children, sickness in the family.
Sickness in the family.
Sometimes when one person is, when one person is
ill,
God, we pray we won't experience a terminally ill, or you have a child that is a disability in the family, and you just have to live with it. And when we look at such things, it's not to bring a wedge in between us. Because the Bible says a house divided against itself will not stand.
Yes.
One thing I tell my children, try to break when you have spaghetti, we were still talking about this yesterday, try to break it into two as a whole. It's difficult. But when we know that some of these problems are unsolvable, what we can do is to pray, because God can turn it around. He can heal. He can, he can give for people who don't have children. He can turn around, your circumstance. But one thing we shouldn't do is to have a blame culture. Oh, you are the barren one. Oh, you are, if not for you, we would have done this by now. Oh, if not that you did not take the right medication, you will not have a disabled child. It should not bring a wedge. There should be no blame culture, because we as families, if we have things that we know that they are good things that are beyond us, we should stick together to be able to weather that storm.
Yeah, that's so true. Yes, thanks for the others who put in on the chat, both on Facebook and on Zoom. Religious beliefs, that can be a major value changer, a major one in a marriage. Religious beliefs, seeing things from different perspectives, keeping secrets. Secrecy can destroy a home. You begin to find out things, or people outside begin to tell you things about your relationship, about your partner, that, oh, did you know, or do you know that your spouse did this or did that, or is doing this or is doing that? And these are things we need to if we want to enjoy our marriage, these are things we need to really, really walk away from and all that. I love Sister Lapu, that marriage is endurance, it is for better and for worse.
You know, I was when we went to we had a few marriage events we attended last year, and you know, hearing some of those vows, when I was like, was that the vows that we said? Because remember that when you are in a wedding ceremony, you just want it to be lovely. Yeah. Sometimes we don't take to heart some of those vows. Yeah. If only we can return to some of those, the videos, the things we recorded, and listen to those vows again. Yeah. Marriage is meant to be for better, for worse. It's not meant to be only in good times. Yeah. You know, exactly. And when the storm hits, because the storm will always come. It will come. When the storm hits, are we together? Are we pulling together? Because if we are doing it individually, that brings a wedge in between.
And that's the joined up approach which we must have to solving problems in our homes. There's some problems you have to accept that you cannot solve. And it's just how do I adapt to what I've got and all that. Like I said, when Kate married Prince William, he had hair, you know, and then now the hair has disappeared. Like when you go to South End and the water has left the beach, you know, the hair has receded. She would have to accept it. What can she do? You know, that's the new reality she would have to live with, you know, and all that. So let's just know that there's some things we won't be able to change, and we just have to accept. I was reminded again this week that even when you're talking in a marriage setting, sometimes your spouse is talking because they just want to let out. They're not looking for advice. They're not looking for a project plan. They're not looking for how to do X, Y, Z. All they want to do is just talk. And sometimes we just have to be there to listen and know that, okay, if they're not asking for advice, we don't need to give advice. Just make all the right noises. You're right. And sometimes that's just healing enough. And we don't have to like, oh, well, you were wrong there. They weren't looking for right or wrong. You just wanted to talk. Okay.
All right.
Which distractions?
Distractions in marriage.
Another reason why people don't enjoy their marriage is because of distractions.
Okay, so we want you to engage again. So mention some of the distractions that will affect a marriage. What are the things you think in the 21st century
can be a distraction?
Can be a distraction to marriages.
Let's go for it. People.
Let's go for it. Distractions.
Distractions in a marriage. Do you think we have distractions?
We do sometimes.
Come on, people. Let's put it in the chat.
I'll give an example, but I don't want to.
Okay, it's coming.
Social media. Well done. Finance. Yeah, well done.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure I understand how size
what
is a distraction, sis.
Phone.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. Keep it coming.
Phones. Yes. Phones. Yeah. Some people love their phones more than they love their spouse. Some people do. You know, work. Yeah. Mobile phones. Correct. Mobile phones. Yes.
Addiction to work.
Addiction to work.
Very true. Phones, social media, gadgets.
Gadgets. Exactly. A man and his gadgets.
Yeah, and honestly, that's I'm so
parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, always out every weekend.
Always out. Yeah, and I think honestly, most of the spending habits, friends,
children.
Yes,
you loved each other until that child came. Yeah. And then either one of you or both of you then took that love and poured it on the child. And then you became strangers to each other. Yeah. Which is why some marriages, we've often wondered why marriages, sometimes you get like 25 years to be married and then suddenly they break up. Why? Because the connecting valve, keeping them together, the children, have left home now, and suddenly they find out that they're strangers. Friends. I always say, my wife is my best friend. And that's not just because I can't see anybody else. I've not seen any male friend outside or things like that. No, It's a commitment. It's a choice. It's a choice.
So talking about distractions, and thank you for everyone who's put something on the chat. Everything you have put there are things that we actually listed here.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll not be able to go through all of them, but we'll just pick a few. And the first one is children. You know, remember that when God created man and woman, he said a man shall cleave to his wife. And that was a full stop.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that a lot of couples do is when the children comes, they pour, like Vincent said, pour all of the attention on that children. And I was saying to him today, I said, a woman, the husband can be waking up, get up, let's have a nice time. And the woman won't wake up. She will even be oblivious to that. But when a child cries, even in another room, that woman can pick it. You know, and it's just, and God has designed us in such a way. But it's just for us to know that when children come, he says, the Bible says, children shall surround your table, not coming between you. Your children are meant to surround like ornaments, to be outside of you, you know, surrounding you. You know, and sometimes children knows when to play up. When they know that once you ask that, they know that they normally sense when a couple is divided. They can go to that. Oh, Dad, can I have this? And then they will say, oh, have you asked your mom? Oh, I don't need to ask her. I just need to ask you. You know, sometimes they do divide and rule. Yeah. And our children can be, so when decisions, we should put, as a couple, we should always have a united front with our children. Correct. Because once our children knows that, when you ask Dad will say yes. When you ask mom will say yes. They'll default to that anyway. You know, and in such a way that sometimes they are now coming in between, not around us. Yeah. Phones in our 21st century. Yeah. You know, some of us, even me, I go to bed, that's when I want to read the news, and my husband will be on the bed beside me. But, you know, these are things that we are learning that even for us as a couple, there are things that we are taking from here to say, this is what we are going to implement. Phones, some of us, the time we spend on our phones, we don't spend 1/5 of it with our spouse. Exactly. And we wonder why we grow apart.
Why we're not enjoying our marriage.
Why we are not enjoying our marriage. We wonder why the children will grow after 25 years and they've all left home and there's a vacuum, there's a gap. And how do we start filling that gap? Because that gap is taking about 20 years. That gap has grown wide. Yeah. You know, so how do we start filling such vacuums?
I was just going to say about the phones that let's call it spade a spade. I think it's rude when your spouse is speaking to you and you're just no, I'll check tomorrow and all that. And even for your children to show that I pay you attention because I love you, you even want to put the phone down and speak to them and then go back to whatever you did. How much more your spouse to give them that attention at that time, rather than your phone and your pressing that. And of course, people know when you're not concentrating, people know when you're not interested in what they're saying, and they walk away. So phone can be a major distraction, and we need to stay with it.
I shared with you a friend of mine, a colleague at work, and she will tell you that when the family is having dinner, they all put their phones on the fireplace, no matter the emergency, until they finish eating and having that time together as a family. No one is speaking of their phones. And, you know, those are rules we need to start putting in place. You know, when we have a family time together, let's do away with phones. You know, put it somewhere. You know, today we were talking together, and somebody rang me, and I said, "Sorry, I'm busy at the moment. I'll talk to you when I finish." And I think we need to start looking at those things, those little foxes that destroys the vine. Work is another thing. Our work has crept into our home. Thank God for COVID. For some, it's good. For some, it's not. But where do we set the boundaries? At 8 o'clock, are we still on our laptop like some people will do? At 9, at 10, are we still stuck to our computer? And our children have come back from school. Oh, we find something to reply. Do your homework. and we just leave them to their
We're
devices,
still working.
and we're still working, all in the name of work. Our friends is another thing.
The
You know,
distraction.
our friends can be. I think you were the one that mentioned one woman who she out of all her friends.
Yeah. I had an uncle, and his wife had friends, and all of them, bar none, all of them were divorced women. And he always said to his wife, he said, from what I see, guess what? All your friends are divorced women. It's just a matter of time before it happens to you. And all that. That was what he kept saying to her. And true to form, it did happen to her after a while. And that's the impact. If you have friends who don't value marriage, if you have friends who are always telling you either look down on your husband, or you know what, if he says A, say B, or look down on your wife, and all that, a woman is just meant to be in the kitchen and all that, she is your cook during the day and your girlfriend during the night, end of story. She has no voice in the home. If you have friends like that, they are distractions. If you have friends who don't, wow, your husband is so terrible, they are distractions. You should have friends who will tell you, keep at it, work on it, and all of that. That's why that is important. And same goes for social activities. I think it was at a local party there. Some people like to just go out to parties. Parties. The time they're meant to spend with their spouse or with the family, all they do is just, there's happening here, it's happening there, and they're all over the place, and they leave their home unattended. Remember Adam, what he did at the beginning. The garden God gave to him to look after. He didn't intend it. That was why the serpent was able to come to the wife, because there was a gap that was open. So yes, we are going to we're rounding these up now. We hope you're gaining one or two things, but we're not looking at tips of successful marriages. Tips for enjoying your marriage. So this is more practical now. And some of them will be questions. Okay. I got a question, people. What are the 3 golden words you must say in your home, in your marriage, if you want it to work? Please put it in the chat, or 3 golden words. 3 words. 3 words that you feel, these words are important. If I keep on saying this, it will really help. Anyone with an idea? Are you giving it away? I am not giving it away. Don't give it away. Yeah. 3 words. Thank you. Thank you. I am sorry. I am sorry. Thank you is 2. Well, it's okay. It's okay. That's 2. I am sorry. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay. That's nice. Love you. Love you. That's 2 words, my brother. I like that 3, Apologies. Apologies. Wow. I forgive you. Is he always doing bad things? Well, 3 words. Okay. Anymore? What do you want to eat? That is 1, 2, 3. That's 5. Do you think that lady called Tosin is from Africa? No. What do you want to eat? 6 words. It's meant to be 3. Just 3. Oh, wow. I won't say that. Wow. What do you want? What do you want? Yeah. Okay. One and only. That's nice. That's nice. That's really nice. Well done, people. Well done, people. First thing I'm going to say I'm happy they didn't say I'll make breakfast. Is it your birthday? You know what I'm happy about? Nobody said I love you, which is good, because I was expecting that someone was going to say I love you, but it's not. Yeah, okay, Vincent. I'll make breakfast. What does at your service even mean? Amazing. At your service, which is exactly what is here. Wow. Where? Imagine my wife wakes up tomorrow morning and says, at your service. Shy. Yeah, but that's what this means. That's yes. Well, of course, in a sense. Open check. Amazing. Thank you for that. So thank you for all of this. And the first thing I wanted to say is, You see all these beautiful things we have written, it is good to say them to our spouses. It is good because I'm going to throw you a challenge now. Okay, so when last did you say this kind of words to your spouse? You found out for some of us, we've gotten so used to living together and doing things that when last did I call my spouse my one and only? You know, things like that. So all of these words are beautiful. I forgive you. I apologize. I appreciate you. What do you want to eat? Kilo fair, you know, what nice. What do you want? You know, nice words. But for us, from our research, and we did the research on this, another very, very good word, 3-letter word is can I help? And all that. Can I help? Can I help? But if you want to make it a 4-letter word, how can I help you? How can I help? And you know,
what can I do to
what
help?
can I do to help?
Can I do?
And it's saying it genuinely, and that's what really matters. Because you know, there's a can I help and there's a can I help. There's an I love you, and there's like an I love you. You don't love me like that. Either you love me properly or you don't love me at all. You know, can I help?
Can I help?
You know, when we see our partner struggling, can I help? What can I do differently? And you know, when you start doing things like that, it's part of the realization that change in any relationship always starts with us rather than the other person.
Yeah.
I am the one who is trying to change so I can make my marriage enjoyable. I'm not waiting for my partner, my spouse, to change before the marriage gets better. I am the author. I want to change before so that we can bring about change. And part of that is focusing. Part of that is focusing on the big picture. Now, look, the reason why I want to change is because I want this to work. Reason why I want to change is because I want us to enjoy being around each other rather than just tolerating each other's space. Let's be together. You know, that's part of it. It's focusing on the big picture. It's focusing on the positives. That I'm not going to be petty. I'll stop being petty. I'll stop nitpicking. Some of us nitpick too much. Nagging. You did it yesterday. You did it the day before. October 1st, you did it last year. January 1st, you did it 2020. April 19, you did it 2019. May 18, you did it 2018. That's all that just brings down. It just reduces the love quotient in our relationship. Do you want to talk about nurturing your connection and staying emotionally connected?
So when we talk about, you know, sometimes when there is an argument, one thing I have learned in marriage is that when there is an issue, resolve that issue, communicate, discuss it, try to resolve it. And because what tends to happen is sometimes we carry a lot of baggages, like my husband said, that happened in 1999, you did that to me. And then I'm linking it to 2010. And then I take it back to 2012, you know, and we carry that baggage, which leads to resentment. Yeah, there are a lot of couples that they're just enduring and it's just resentment. Oh, you did that. No, when there is an issue, let's discuss it. Let's resolve it.
Yeah.
Let's not sweep it under the carpet. No, because what some people do, oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. And we don't discuss it fully. When we don't do that, what tends to happen is that because we have not discussed it, we have not learned from it. Because whatever we discuss, whatever we communicate, we learn from it.
That's so true.
And nurturing our communication, you know, one of the things thankfully COVID has helped us to do as a family is to, initially, we bought a lot of board games. We bought games, we bought card games, and all of that. Because each and every one of us, we just find out that everybody spends time differently, you know, separately, especially when you have boys. You know, they just want to be in their space. But sometimes when we have those games, we come together. Oh, let's play Monopoly. Oh, let's play cards, a Monopoly card game, and all of that. And it's all in that nurturing, godly environment, staying emotionally connected, doing the right things together. You know, taking out time to go out. It doesn't have to be an expensive restaurant. It could be a cinema. Most of the time now, most of the cinemas now are like, is it $4.99? Go out by just together, hold hands. I know for some people, probably, you know, it's been long, for some of us women, if your husband is not building into the bank, and then, you know, at night, that's when he will be awake, he'll be trying to wake you up. It doesn't work like that. You need to have saved money, saved romance in the bank for you to withdraw out of it. You cannot just, you know, you just like the way we save money in a bank, you need to save romance, save love, save it in the bank. So that when it's time, you can withdraw and bring it out. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course, yeah. Yeah, we said the woman has gone out to work like you. The woman has washed the plate, she's put the children to bed, put clothes in the washing machine, sorry. Dishwashing. Put clothes in the washing machine, done all the work. You've gone up to bed at 9 p.m. and then she trottles in at 11 p.m. tired, headache, and she just wants to sleep. And then you say, I love you. No, you don't.
Have you asked, can I help? Because remember, during the day, when she's doing all of those chores, when, oh, can I help you? I can put this clothes in the washing machine. Oh, I can do this for you while you do this.
Exactly.
It builds a lot into the bank. And when you want to withdraw from it, it's easier to withdraw.
Oh, yeah.
And say, oh, no
save
cash.
To withdraw. Yes, ma'am.
No
yes,
cash.
ma'am. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or else the check will bounce, you know, and then that causes problems when the check bounces. So if you don't want your check to bounce, save in. Save in. Somebody said, if you want heaven at 11, start from 7. Now, that's a deep revelation. If you want heaven at 11, you need to start at 7. Yeah. Save up for
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But really, how much do couples touch outside of when they're in their room at night? How much do they touch during the day? A hug and all of that, just a touch, you know, and things like that. Of course, we're not talking about touch of violence, we're talking about tender touch of love, and all these things are important. Not looking at what's in this for me and all that. Like we said, the only time you say I love you is when you want something, when you want to gain advantage. So, oh, darling, you know. I once knew somebody, anytime he said darling, everybody runs for cover because they know a request is coming. That's not the kind of relationship we should have. We're doing it because we want to change, not because we want to change other people. What about arguments? My woman, my everything.
Somebody put that on the face. Hallelujah. You know, just talking about this, we did say this, there are no perfect homes, there are no perfect marriages, even the ones made in heaven, the ones where, you know, you're married to an angel, there will be time of disagreement.
Oh, yes.
There'll be time when there's going to be arguments. And we just need to be sure that, you know, that anger is not a reason to say things we will regret. I think we need to have boundaries, you know, to know what to say when we are angry. Don't call each other names. Don't say, oh, you this, you that. And then you expect that when that argument, when that disagreement is over, the person will forget it.
When you call them.
It doesn't work like that. Once words fall to the ground, it's not easy to pick them. Say they're like eggs. It's not easy to gather it together. You know, don't the way you will treat your colleagues, especially if you're in an environment where corporate environment, you don't talk down to your colleagues, you don't call them names, you don't shout at them, you don't say you this whore, you this that. No, you show them respect. So we should have values or standards when we have disagreement or argument. Don't Don't call each other names. Don't say things in anger. Don't refer them back to their ancestors who didn't bring them up properly.
Oh, wow.
You know, those words are words that should not be uttered by Christians. You know, especially if we say we are people of faith. When we argue, we should have boundaries. And also, we should always recognize that when it's stress, when your spouse is stressed, I know sometimes, you know, when my husband is quiet, I'm like, what's up? Are you okay? And is this word, can I help? That word, can I help, will open a lot of doors.
It does.
When you see your spouse stressed, your husband or wife, look at ways how you can relieve it. Don't think of, you know, talk to them. What's bothering you? If they are not ready to talk at that time, yeah, maybe you can, at another time, you can speak to them about it. But a burden shared is half solved. You know, don't always like, oh, she's quiet, that's it. You know, that's the way she's always quiet. Anyway, you know, and just leave her, or oh, he's gone into his mood, or he's withdrawn into his shell, and he's not talking to me, and that's it. No, let's look for a way to, you know, speak, you know, encourage and support one another in a godly home. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. You know, and again, some sweet things we can do, very, very simple things, but which will really, really add value to our homes, to our marriage, you know. Make our time to go out regularly. It doesn't have to be expensive. McDonald's, £2.99 burger.
No, we don't like McDonald's.
Yeah.
We are healthy
I mean,
people.
of course, yeah. What I'm saying is,
Cinema, theater.
look, the park, going to the park with your sandwich, as in something that will even cost you money. Just enjoy being together. And not because you are planning anything, not because you are planning a project or you have something to discuss. Just enjoy each other's company. One of the things COVID did for us was get us walking for an hour every day. And that has just made it so easy to discuss so many things that normally would have been talking about, and we had time to talk about it, time to iron out issues. Sometimes we don't finish it in a day, we move on to the next day.
I remember even when we have disagreements, when we go for
it's
those
when we go for
that
work,
we resolve
that we
them.
talk about them, and we resolve them. And all that. So please make out time to go out, enjoy each other's company, watch movies at home together. If you like Nollywood, call your partner and enjoy Nollywood together. Women, when your husbands are losing, their football clubs are losing, that's not when to rub it in. Please, we beg you, don't rub it in there. Arsenal, rubbish team. That's not the time. That's not the time. You can say it to your friends, but don't say it to them. I know that you're just rubbing salt into the wound. I know that, and men can be passionate about things like this. So please, be your spouse cheerleader.
I think I've learned something from that. So Arsenal, they're a very good team.
Fantastic.
They're very
fantastic.
good team.
You know, another thing I said this before, another thing I learned this week, always say to your wife, you are right. You can't go wrong on that one. Anyways, be your spouse's cheerleader. If they've done something, appreciate them. Appreciation is far and few, you know, in the world today. Nobody appreciates anybody. Appreciate your spouse. Thank them. Like we said, one of the words you should be saying is thank you. Let them know how special they are. Believe in your relationship. You have to believe in your own relationship. You know, you believed in it before you started, or maybe you started wrongly, maybe for whatever reason, or you are in it now. Believe in your relationship. I always say, I'm looking forward at 80 when we're still walking. An hour every day, to and fro, 85, 90, as the Lord tarries, in good health and in wealth, our grandchildren surrounding us. We look forward to that time, but let's do the work now. Laugh with your spouse, not at them. People make fun of your spouse, you join in. They say, madam, you have tripled. She has tripled. Stupid man. You don't say that. You don't laugh at your spouse. You laugh with them. You don't crack jokes at their expense. You laugh together.
And if you don't know what to laugh about, go and watch TikTok. Many things to laugh about.
Yeah, and I think it's very important what you just said. We should, if we are our spouse's cheerleader, then we will not be in a position where we are the ones, people are putting our spouses down, especially sometimes when you have in-laws, right? Or in-laws that are putting your spouse, that they're putting your spouse down and you join them, or you stay aloof. This is This is not about me. This is about my spouse.
Allow them.
Or we laugh at our spouse. People make fun of them, and we join in. We really need to check. Are we really committed to that relationship? You know, it's something for you to nip in the bud. And you don't talk about my spouse like that. You can do that inside. You know, laugh at you may laugh at them when you are inside, when it's just the two of you or with the children, but not in the public, where you ridicule them. Because at the end of the day, remember, you are one.
You're one.
When you ridicule them, you ridicule yourself.
You ridicule yourself. Exactly. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. Your spouse is not an extension of you. Your spouse is you. Your spouse is you. And whatever you do yourself, that's what you should be doing. That's what you should be doing for yourself. Nobody likes to be laughed at. And that's why we shouldn't be doing that to our spouse. And of course, how can we talk about things like this and not talk about communication? Communication. Choose the right time to address issues. When things are getting heated, don't push it. Don't add petrol to the fire. Learn when to let go. And also remember, like we said, no one will give you an award for winning an argument. There are times when we just let go. Let's seek joint understanding. One thing we used to do, and we still do, is, okay, how did you see the thing? From your point of view, not right or wrong here. From your point of view, say, I saw it this way, I saw it that way. It's not right, it's not wrong. It's the way you saw it. Because when we gain an understanding, then we can begin to make change. Most times, we want the other spouse to understand us, but we're not looking to understand them. Socrates said, seek first to understand before you are understood. Seek first to understand their point of view before you put your own forward for people to understand you. I think we've shared
we've done quite a lot, and one of the things that was put on the chat earlier is please and thank you. You know, sometimes we do that for people outside, but when we come home, we forget those words. You know, it's like, oh, can I have this, please? Oh, can you do this, please? And thank you. When things are done for you, don't just take it for granted. Remember that if at anything, if you don't appreciate that person as your spouse, appreciate them as a person. You know, because that's what you would do outside your home. That's what you would do at work. You know, appreciate your spouse, show gratitude. You know, like we said, don't talk them down. We were learning in 2 Corinthians that even Christians like ourselves, we should not look down on people when they fall. We should pray that God will, restore them. How much more the person that we are in covenant with for the rest of our lives? You know, we just need to work at it and make it better.
And please, if you just get to a point where you can't manage, please seek help. Seek help, seek professional help, seek guidance, seek support. There is no perfect marriage anywhere. If people look happy and they are indeed happy, they can tell you what they're doing, so you can also introduce it. You can learn from it, introduce it into your own relationship too. Okay, as we tidy this up tonight, we have one last request from everybody. Can you please put in the chat your key takeaway today? One thing you are taking away, might be two, might be three, whatever, but one thing you are taking away today as we begin to tidy this up. Please put it in the chat. Let's see what comes through. What stood out for you today? What are you taking away? What have you learned? Or what
are you going to implement?
What do you want to implement? Or what do you want us to implement? Like, okay, This is what I'm saying to all married couples. This is what you need to do. Communicate more. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thanks for that. Communicate more. We cannot communicate enough. Enough. We need to time. Find the right time.
I like that.
Save to withdraw. Of course, you must save to withdraw. Exactly. Don't go into the bank empty and all that. Spend more time
for each
together.
other.
Yeah.
Appreciate your spouse.
Please and thank you. Yes.
Appreciate your spouse.
Appreciate your spouse. They're there to compliment you. That's so true.
Seek help to perfect your marriage.
Exactly. Exactly. Seek help to perfect your marriage, because
life is safe to withdraw.
That's
the more we save, the more we can get.
And that actually applies to every part of the relationship, isn't it? That when we invest in, then it's easy. It's easy to withdraw. It's easy to ask after you've made the investment. The problem most times is we're trying to ask when we've not made any investment. Listen to your spouse.
Believe in your marriage.
Believe in your marriage. Exactly. People might not believe in you. People might tell you, it's not going to work. Look at you. It won't work and all of that. You have to resolve that this marriage, we will make this marriage work. Believe in your marriage.
Learn to say sorry.
Learn to say sorry. Learn to say, I forgive you. Learn to say, you are right. So some of us just
say, can I help?
Can I help? Exactly.
What can I do to support you?
Know what to say when his football club is not winning. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. That's important. Everybody is talking you down because your club lost. And then your wife adds to it. Painful. Can be painful. Let's be honest. Can be painful. Learn to say sorry. Thanks, people. That's been really.
We hope you found this useful. Like we said at the very beginning, it's not words that we haven't heard before. This is just to bring us to remembrance of what, that Christ paid the price for marriages, for us to have the best marriages on earth. If people like the Queen could stay in a marriage for 73 years, we can. It is achievable. It is workable. The more we put in it, the more we invest in it, the better it becomes. Like wine. The older wine gets, the sweeter it becomes, and the more expensive. And we pray that our homes will indeed be heavens on earth. Amen.
So thanks, people. This has been brought to you by Transformation Sanctuary International. This video will be on Facebook and it will be on a YouTube channel. Please feel free to go on a YouTube channel. We had 6 of these events last year. It wasn't about marriage. We had one about employment, one about health, one about finances, one about mental health, one about fitness, lots of things. So please go to our YouTube channel and watch them. They will bless you as much as you have been blessed today. Our services are also live on Facebook, 10 a.m. Sunday morning. So or on Zoom, same link in, same details, just a click away. Please feel free to join us as God will lead you. Thursdays, we have a award-winning Bible study session. If you have not been to one, try us out. 7 p.m. on Thursday, same Zoom link or same Facebook page. Please feel free to join us. But it's been really, really interesting having you all. And remember, we're not asking you to go do a huge, humongous thing. We're just saying start little. Can I help? Thank you.
At your service.
At your service.
I love that
one. I love that one. At your service,
Safe to withdraw.
Safe to withdraw. Your club is not winning, but I still love you. Or just little things. It will make a huge difference in our homes, and we'll get to enjoy our marriage rather than tolerate or endure each other. Thanks for coming tonight. God bless you. It's Vincent and
Victoria
saying thank you for joining us, and
God bless you.
God bless you.